Loneliness, isolation, and not feeling able to make a change. This is really common pattern that I see with clients coming to therapy at the moment. A lot of people out in the world right now are feeling lonely and isolated, and stuck in a bit of a downward spiral where we've kind of withdrawn to a point where it becomes very difficult to put ourselves out there again and start reaching out and trying to refine community, all these kind of things. And it's a tricky place to try and move from. Very often when we're in this kind of situation, it feels like there's no easy next steps. There's no clarity in order to make a plan and move forward. And very often with all of these presenting issues in healing, very often the first step is almost always the opposite of where we think we should be taking action. Because someone who's lonely and isolated very often will spend a lot of time keeping themselves busy, not wanting to stay still for too long, feel like they're trying to take action, feel like they're trying to move, but not really feeling like they're actually making any progress with that. And often I believe the reason is because they're not wanting to accept the reality of how lonely and isolated they feel. And they keep themselves really busy because as soon as they stop, the anxiety rises up, the feelings of fear and all that kind of stuff come to the surface. And quite naturally, we don't want to feel those things. And so we keep ourselves very distracted and we, scroll on social media. We do all these things that have the appearance of keeping us busy. But underlying that is we're not allowing ourselves to fully feel the reality of our situation. Now, in integration sessions, very often I'll be speaking to a client and asking them to come back to the reality, to accept, to try and deepen their ability to fully feel what's underneath. So that might be sitting with the reality of feeling lonely and disconnected, and almost the shame of feeling like we don't have a support group around us, for example. And that's very uncomfortable, and it takes time, and we go very slowly in order to expand our capacity to be able to hold that discomfort. But one thing that's come up a few times is clients who say, but how is that going to help me? I don't want to be lonely. How is it going to help me to actually go in there and fully feel it? Because that's not what I want. And what I say is that until we actually really genuinely accept reality, it's very difficult to make a change. You can think of it like we have a photograph of how we'd like things to be. We have this beautiful connected community. We have loads of friends. We go out every night of the week. We've got a great social life. We have a photo of that. But our reality is not that. And while we are not accepting the reality, it's like trying to walk up the stairs while looking at the photo instead of where we're going. Right? We're going to keep tripping up and we're going to keep walking into things. Doesn't mean that we might not want that as a place to point us in the right direction. But once we know where we're heading, we need to come back and accept the reality so that we can actually make a plan, so that we can actually move from where we are, not from where we're trying to be. Okay. And so if you're lonely, the first bit is coming to the point of fuck, I really am lonely right now. It's awful. And that's probably going to be really uncomfortable. But as soon as you allow that energy to be in your system, all the anxiety that's there, all of that kind of discomfort that normally we try and numb out from, we try and, you go on social media or whatever it might be to kind of avoid, that's just energy that's trying to move. And if you fully allow that to be there, that's a power that you can use to change things. So if you are lonely, if you are isolated, as soon as you fully accept it, you can look around and be like, okay, well, I need to do something about this. What options are there? What kind of first next steps can I look at just to start changing things a little bit? And then we can actually work together to put a plan in place and to take those steps and to move forward. But as I said, almost all of the presenting issues are because we at some level don't accept the reality of our situation. Very often there's very good reasons why, but at the same time, while we are still projecting, wishing things were different, focusing on how we want things to be instead, is very hard to move forward because we're not looking at the same landscape as where we actually are. If you're struggling with this issue, I do have space for new clients at the moment. You can find a link to book an initial consultation in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.